NSC Fan TV, Drew here with Scott after another tie.
Another tie.
This time 0-0 against DC United.
On the road.
Road.
Points on the road, a point on the road. A regular saying about good teams is they win at home and they tie away. And that's what we got. We got a point away against a team that's a bubble team for the playoffs, and so they didn't do a lot of catching up ground wise on us point wise. That's a good result.
I think that's a good result. Yeah, I mean it's always frustrating to see, given just our position on the table, the kind of quality of a lot of our forwards, to just see them get a clean sheet against us. I mean, just shut us out.
Well, then let's talk about the Rios chance at the end, because that was maybe our best chance.
That was probably I think
that was our best chance. I think it was the Rios chance at the end.
Hackinson ended up flubbing at least one early on.
He was wrong-footed all night. I think that the ball at his feet was not the chance that it really should have been. I
was excited to see him out though.
I was too.
I mean, I was like, great.
He's another player that I would like to see more of.
After that brace.
Not like that though.
After the brace, brace is just always. And I'm almost like, did that ruin the brace in my mind?
Like, I wondered. Yeah, that's a good question.
Did that ruin the brace? I don't think it has yet.
I don't think so. I think that was a great run of play from him.
Yeah.
Two goals at home from Hackinson was just a great night.
Yeah.
Not a good night from him. And he came off around 70. I've got my notes here. He came off at 69.
See,
and Wheel came on for him.
Yeah, that's right.
So let's
Mr. Run Ahead.
So we one runner for another, and I think that Wheel did make things a little bit easier for folks behind him because he was coming back and doing a lot of collecting. But you had things to say about the Rios chance.
I mean, that was. I had thought he came on earlier. At first I was saying, maybe he was tired. It made sense that maybe he wasn't about his wits or whatever. But you telling me that time he came on, what was it, the 70?
He came on at 73.
At 73.
By my notes.
And I think that big chance was like the 80-something minute.
It was the late 80s.
Late 80s, yeah.
He hadn't played for 20
He hadn't played for 20 minutes. At first I thought, he's tired. He came on like somewhat in the first part of the second half.
Right.
And then now look, like he's tired. He ran his ass off.
Right.
But in reality, no.
No. Probably still pretty fresh legged.
Yeah.
So I do have some things to say in his defense.
Okay.
One of them was that he was going far. He went far post.
He had to. I mean, it was him and the keeper pretty much.
And I think that the keeper had kind of locked down near post, and if he was going to go near post, it was going to have to be kind of in that like a foot off his ankle zone.
Yeah.
And I think that maybe even the keeper had that locked down.
But it was on his right too.
It was on his good foot.
I was like, he's on his right. So this is great. He's headed down the right wing, right, slightly to the. I thought he could just get it in
But he was maybe 4 or 5 yards to the right of the goal, so he had to go across the entire goal.
He would have had to go across the whole mouth of the goal, yeah. But there were no defenders to kind of pick it up from there.
That's right.
It was just him and the keeper.
It was just him and the keeper. It was
it
was a ball from Mukhtar who pushed it wide to him.
Was it Mukhtar? Yeah, I think it was.
Maybe it was Mukhtar.
So, yeah.
So regardless who gave him the chance, it was a real chance.
It wasn't even on target though.
It wasn't
on frame. I mean, I think that was the biggest thing. It wasn't on frame. It was him and the keeper.
It was out of the keeper's reach though, and that
so it was out of the keeper's reach.
So I think it was a great chance. I think that he struck it well. I think that the problem was that the goal was not aligned properly.
They
need to move the goal over. What are they doing with the goal so badly positioned there?
Or if they just angled it a little bit.
Yeah, right. Like,
got
it out.
Swing it wide a little bit.
All right, so that was a good joke. But they also there were really only 2 chances in the game. There's the Rios chance, and then their Kamara, like. He almost broke the dang post.
That was insane.
4th or 5th minute.
I thought that was it. Actually, no, there was that, but then Willis stopping.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if you're counting.
Like real saves.
Are we talking about real saves? Because the post saved us there, but Willis double save
at the end.
At the end.
Yeah. That was heart and mouth time, man.
I mean, he turned into like a statue.
Yeah, man.
He assumed the position.
He made himself big.
Yeah.
He made himself big.
Blocking the most space he could. And
Yeah,
I mean, he held it down.
Well, DC was going for the win. I mean,
Yeah.
they were pouring it on there for the last 4 or 5 minutes.
I just think Paredes was crazy that game.
Yeah,
Paredes, that's their wonder kid.
he is a fine player.
I'm looking to poach him because he's
a fine player.
He's insanely good. I mean,
he's a fine player.
He's the epitome of like a modern like wingback.
Yeah.
You know, because it feels kind of like a little bit Trent Alexander-Arnold.
Yeah, I agree. I agree completely. That's exactly who I had in mind. That he's part of the offense. He's dropping balls in. He's a reliable defender. He helps in the midfield. That right there is
everything.
And his conditioning is uncanny. I mean, like he runs full.
And he's fairly young, right? I think he's in his early 20s. Okay. I think. So,
well, he's a good player, and and I think that honoring the good play for the other team is something that we have to do. I think
we have to.
And he is a good player.
He's a great player. I mean, I was watching him the whole game thinking, damn, like
what a good player.
That ideal wingback play. I don't know what else to say about it.
So I have a player that I want to give some praise to. So 2 players.
Okay.
Joe Willis, 13 shutouts. Great last 10 minutes of the match. Solid play. There was the one point where it's like he looked really brick-footed with the ball in the back and had to pull some maybe more than goalkeeper skill.
That's right. That was like a Deus Ex Machina.
Yeah, man.
Like that
was some frightening stuff. But so that didn't work against Cincinnati at the beginning of the season. But and so I kind of had visions of that. But aside from that one little hiccup with the ball at his feet, what a great game from Joe Willis. And again, a league-leading number of shutouts. That's a testament to his quality and the quality of the defense that we've got in front of him.
And the organization in the back. I mean, that's all part of the quality. But that organization, that game, I think it was great. I mean, because shutting them out with Paredes running down that wing, I mean, I was nervous. Well, and like you said, they were going for the 3.
They were going for the 3.
They were not happy with 1.
And not for a moment. They're right back. And I wrote his name down. Pines. That big right back.
Yeah.
And he's fast. Right. And he was crashing, like he's kind of like Zimmerman does for us. Like he crashes the goal and kind of hangs in there on the set pieces.
It just waits to get like a.
And he is right. He's like 6'5", 6. Like he's a big, fast, powerful dude.
He's hard to miss.
And so I think that he had a really good game, and he was very frightening. But the player that I think that we've given some criticism to, but also some plaudits, but I think that he pretty much had a flawless game, was Brian Anunga. He ran and dug and fought and scrapped and had good creative passes forward. I think that he played that was the best game that I've seen from Brian Anunga. And head and shoulders, I thought the best player in the midfield for the from the whole team. Not the whole team, but from their team too. I thought that he made everything that they tried to bring up the middle a disaster.
That's a good point.
He was awesome. Yeah. He was awesome. He reminded me, like I used to play soccer when I was a kid, and there was my neighbor's dog would and like you couldn't juke him, and it was almost like they had that frustration where it's like that fucking collie is impossible to get away from. That's what he was like. He was kind of like that Gattuso the dog, right? He was just dogged and rough, and the dude can lay the lumber. He just had
can lay the lumber. I mean, that we never doubted that, though. We never doubted that.
That's true.
So that was always true. But
yeah.
I think that's a good point, though. Speaking of defensive midfielders.
Yes.
So you've got Anunga with the great game, and I agree. I didn't pay as much attention as I should have. So I just failed to neglect.
I like our midfielders. And so
I failed to neglect, or I failed to consider Anunga's play and how that contributed to going forward. Even. Like just all around. But Dax McCarty.
It's a pretty good game.
I think
good
game until and see. Honestly, here's my opinion on that.
I think you and I are going to disagree.
I think we're going to disagree, but that wasn't that was, I think, a warranted tactical foul.
The cost is too high.
He saw it right. He saw saw the dribbling happening.
Yes.
He saw that they were going for 3 the entire time.
Yes.
Especially that second half.
Yes.
He saw Paredes decimate the wing.
Yes.
And he said, you know what?
This kid needs to bite the dust. We give him a free kick 25 yards out.
Give them a free kick. We can at least try our best to defend against, right? He brings Zimmerman all the way. Defend against the set piece. And then close it out.
So here are the cons to this. So I agree with you.
And it was an extra time. It was an extra time. So there's going to be no additional time added for having to set up for the set piece, right?
Really?
Not as much.
I don't think that math works out.
Not at least as much, right?
They got 30 extra seconds in that game.
They did.
So
yeah, they did.
So here's the con on this.
Okay.
1, how often have we been beaten with set plays at the end of games?
Okay.
How often do we get beat by set plays at the end of games?
I'm getting
enough. Enough for that to be something where it's like, look, this is the way that we let goals in. This is the way that Orlando ties us. This is the way that Miami gets to turn the knife on us at the end of the game.
Okay.
So this is something that I see other teams set up, like generally it's like run of play stuff. It's like they'll cover. They can cover. Joe Willis can make the save.
Okay.
But when I see people doing setup and us like, hey, look at that. Why is Dax McCarty on Pines or whatever?
Yeah.
That's the place where I have all my anxieties with this team. I've got no anxieties in run of play. I have anxieties whenever I see a set piece and I see one of their sharks. That's exactly it. I see one of their sharks standing over the ball and saying, I see that.
I see someone out of position because we do get caught out of position. I mean, and even like with Sapong, who usually is good in the air, when it comes to defending in the air, he loses his wits.
Less than we need.
Yeah.
And so
that's a good point.
So you and I we can agree to disagree.
We can
on this as to what the overall assessment here is, but we do recognize the plus minus.
There is a plus minus to it. I mean, it gives you a chance to set up, but what if your team is bad at setting up?
What if our team is bad?
Set pieces? I mean,
maybe we're getting better.
Well,
we didn't put a goal in, so
not that time. But you're right. It is cost benefit. But so what you're saying basically is that in open play we're fine. Chances are it would have been covered. And
chances are we can cover that.
Creating a situation with stop play with the tactical foul and also the yellow. That's another thing. That's another minus. It comes with the yellow.
It comes with the cost.
And possibly more. And for a player like Dax, being on more yellows. Generally not a good idea.
So again, I think that we have a really strong 3 midfielders, and so when Dax had to sit out with the red, I think that we have a strong midfield and we've got a deep bench in the midfield, and so the costs are not as high, but they're still high because McCarty is our holder and our playmaker.
Yeah, I think he's the linchpin of. Honestly, this score.
God, he's such a great 6. And
going forward and defending it, he sees stuff, and maybe he saw something. But like you're saying, you're looking at it on the TV and you see, okay, was that really as threatening a run as it would have been?
And you know what? Maybe whenever you're maybe when you're at 91 minutes and you're just like, man, we're holding on for dear life. Maybe that was the right call, and so I can concede that.
I think that was 93. It
was late.
I think it was even beyond the 91. I think that was pretty late. Yeah.
It was late. So I have one other thing I wanted to talk about, and it was all the physical play that Mukhtar was getting.
Oh yeah,
from the very, very beginning, he was just on the receiving end of so much chippy stuff.
Yeah, I thought so too. Yeah, that was. Are they trying to hurt him for the play?
So I just don't know. Look, I mean, whenever I played, I can remember, putting a shoulder on and you eat a little grass there. Eat a little grass there, 10.
Grass there. Yeah. You're getting too cute with stuff.
That's exactly. You need to remember that I know how to play defense here.
Yeah.
So I understand that.
But it was particularly bad.
It was particularly bad on Mukhtar this time around.
Yeah, that was, I think, rough.
And they had I'm trying to. I wrote down the MFer's name, Knaus.
Knaus.
That dude is a cheap shot artist, is what he is.
And got away with a lot.
He did. I think did he did a yellow at some point?
I think he got a yellow.
And I was like, that's going to shut him up, but it didn't.
He's still nothing can stop him, I guess. I mean, that was he was rough.
He was
game,
I'm just concerned that Mukhtar is not getting the is not getting the kind of consideration from the referees that players like Zelarayan, that guy gets touched, or Bedoya for Zelarayan for Columbus, or Bedoya for Philly. Those guys.
Bedoya, all you do is.
And then the referee's like, you need to leave him alone. Don't you know he's a delicate flower?
Yeah, but for Mukhtar, I mean, and part of it is, I'm not gonna lie, there are times where Mukhtar does go down where clearly not much has happened. But the problem is, as the referee, you can't. I don't think you can take that and say, "Oh yeah, you're crying
like this acting." You know, when
play is that rough, that was
So I just thought that that's something that I just want to be on record saying. Like, I thought that Mukhtar was targeted for more physical play than just what happens in a game.
And he didn't get hurt, but it gives me almost like slight Neymar World Cup flashbacks, where it's like, he's fine. Everyone's like, he's fine. He's fine. Yeah, this guy almost died. Like,
broke one of his back.
Yeah, you're gonna paralyze this dude.
Back. Oh my god.
But you're like, he's flopping. He does it all the time.
Yeah.
But no, that's a good point. And Mukhtar was getting thrashed on all game.
He was getting thrashed. And so kind of want to see him protected, and maybe would like to see someone in blue or in yellow come up and give Knaus a little, hey, you know what? I'm not gonna hurt you here.
We need to have
you need to hear this.
Yeah, if the ref won't do it.
If the ref won't do it, maybe Knaus needs to eat some grass. Whoever. So
give him a little shoulder.
Give him a little.
Just a little. Okay, well, I've said my piece.
Okay, I've said my piece. All right, NSC Fan TV.